You're now watching Lena Blue TV.
She know that her baby daddy ain't like me. I just fucked the nigga wifey. I shouldn't have did it, but fuck it, I did it. Shit, he would've did it, he probably just like me. I got like 10 hoes.
Lotice, how are you?
I'm doing good. I woke up, I'm blessed. I'm having a good day.
Lotice, where are you from?
I'm from Chicago. I just moved down to Atlanta probably like a month ago.
So, what was it like living in Chicago?
For me, I always like moved a lot. So like I was born in Chicago Heights, and then my mom moved us to Wisconsin, and I spent probably like 5-6 years there. Then we moved back to Chicago, and then I was in another part of Chicago, and then we just did like a lot of back and forth. So I ain't really had time to develop like a life. If you know anybody who hear about Chicago, they like kind of attach people to their hood, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't really had no certain neighborhood to attach myself other than where I was from. So like, by the time I did get old enough and start being able to grasp hold of what it's like to be in Chicago, I was moving around. So I was already hustling. I was already trying to figure out how I can make me some money. For me, it was just school, come home, and working in the studio on my computer till I started tattooing. And then that started keeping me super busy. So I was tattooing, cutting hair, in the studio recording myself, doing videos. For real, that was like my, I don't want to say my whole childhood, but probably like from my 14 on up. That's what I would say. If you ask me about what Chicago was like, that's what I was doing. I just always been busy.
So, with you moving so often, what was that like? Was it just like, oh my gosh, we gotta move again? And what about like your new friends and old friends and?
Yeah, like I hated that. It's alright for me to cuss.
Yeah.
I hated that shit. Like I didn't like it the first time we moved. Like I moved when I was like 6 years old. My mama told me we was going fishing. So I'm thinking we coming back home because this where my aunties, my granddaddy, my grandma had. To me, that was life and it was lit. And I got taken away from that basically. But it was for my benefit though. I just didn't know at the time. Then it was like we was staying at homeless shelters, we was hotels, like all type of stuff like that. And that was embarrassing and it wasn't comfortable. And I don't know, it just made me like I wasn't just angry all the time, but I was just always so serious because I'm like, damn, why we gotta move so much? Like other people get this just. I felt like everybody else had a home and that they stayed at, whether it was an apartment or a home, and I felt like, damn, we always gotta move. But it was just now I got an appreciation for it, cause like it allowed me to see different demographics, to see how different people are, different personalities, different ethnicities. You know, just to see how they are and just to respect how they are. So when I came back to Chicago, it was like, they like, why you talking white? When really I was in some good schools and they was teaching me how to properly talk and properly spell and all of that. So it was very beneficial for me. And I noticed it more over time. But at first, it really was like, all right, again, we're moving again. Now, I move like this. That's how I end up in Atlanta.
How did the change in dialect affect your relationships with your people back home?
They just used to be like, well, you talk white. But for real, I was in school. Like when I came back from Wisconsin, I was in 6, 7. I was in middle school. So. I was really shy. I really didn't talk at all anyways. I was like super smart. I'm talking whatever assignment they gave me, I passed it all. I might have got 1 or 2 wrong, but I was getting A's and I was doing extra credit. So I was an A+ student in an honors class, getting honor rolls, high honor roll, principal award. But I also knew how to draw too. So I guess that made me cool to other students because they like, wasn't nobody else drawing, and though we all smart. Chicago, you got some badass kids. Everybody bad, they talking. I was just doing what I was supposed to do. I ain't really had no run-ins. But if it ever was something like a fight or something like that, the people who did know me, they'll step up before I step up. Like, nah, leave him alone, or we gonna have to fight.
Yeah.
Cause bro, cool. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't never really had no issue, cause people always respected me being cool and being an artist. I ain't never searched for no. I wasn't really on that. I wasn't on no bullshit. I wasn't trying to fight or none of that. If I had to, then I did. I ain't had to do a whole lot of fighting though, cause that ain't what I never was on that.
So coming where you're from, I imagine that you have friends or associates that have passed on.
Yeah.
What is that like?
Like for anybody. Like I'm blessed enough not to have had a lot of my close friends pass away. Like I got cousins and friends who then lost 5, 10, 15 close friends. That just build up a anxiety, a PTSD, or resentment, or anger, and it like it would in anybody. And it's a lot of hatred in that. It's a lot of get back in that. So that's what a lot of people have in Chicago. For me, I don't have so much of that, but I do. I think anybody from Chicago still had that same like PTSD, like that Herb talk about, that same anxiety. Like I used to have to catch the bus from the city to go to school in the suburbs, but I'll sit on the bus with a mug just so nobody will say nothing to me. Like, oh, he already mad. We don't want to fuck with him. I just used to sit on the bus like that because I didn't want nobody to mess with me. Yeah. It wasn't that I was just that type of person, but that's what Chicago will do to you. Right. I ain't really, like I say, I done lost some family and the people that I did lost. I just moved forward from it. I like to stay on the brighter side of things. I don't like to, even when people lose people, I don't like to talk too much about it because I think people like to stay too much on the sad side of things. It's like life goes on. You got to continue to live. If you keep on living, leave the past in the past and move forward. But take whatever you need to from it so that you can grow properly.
So when did you realize that you had this talent of singing and rapping?
Like 8 years old.
Really?
Because my mom used to listen to like a lot of music, like Lauryn Hill, Jill Scott, like R. Kelly, Avant, Genuine. Like I was listening to a lot of 90s music. Even when I wasn't paying attention, I was subconsciously hearing it. All of my aunties, they was listening to it, so that's the spirit that I grew up in, like R&B and Dusties and stuff like that. Even my grandma knew. So, like when I was 8 years old, that's when I think I sang "Happy Birthday" to my mama for her birthday, and she was like, she was just mind blown because she ain't never heard me sing, and I didn't even know I didn't know I could sing. I know I could sing, but I didn't know it was like that. She got to calling people up, and then when I was like 12, I started writing. I still was singing, but I didn't want to let nobody know I knew how to sing because it was like, oh, you soft. But I loved Michael Jackson. I loved to hear like slow music. I loved to sing. But I learned how to rap because I didn't want people to have to talk about me nothing. So we used to sit at the table, beatbox on the table and freestyle like that. So
people would say that you're soft or because you have a talent.
Yeah, but at least if it's singing, back then. But when Chris Brown came out, I was like 7th grade. He changed the game. Yeah, right. I started with the school. I started singing to the ladies, and it was like, "Oh, nigga, you know how to sing?" Yeah. And it was like it was respected then, and that's when I just continued to blossom.
So, besides the situation that you are in right now, what type of doors did singing open up for you?
Singing got me in a lot of trouble with the ladies because every girl I talk to think that I got all the hoes, all that. So, and I ain't gonna like as when I was younger, it did. Even if I wasn't conscious about it, it did bring more. It did bring more women to be attracted to me and stuff like that. but it also like opened up doors for me to really get it, because I always wanted to be in the music industry. I always wanted to see myself. As a kid, if I was watching videos, I used to want to see myself in videos, in the studio, and probably like I say, like 14 was that age when I really started. And I think anybody really start tapping into whatever it is that they like if they not distracted by the streets or something like that. I had older homies, 17, 18, who they had Pro Tools and they was in the studio recording. They had cameras, they was taking pictures and doing videos.
Right.
And that opened the door for me to escape whatever else I would have got into. And it put me in the studio, and I was doing videos before anybody was able to. Like a lot of people do, like now it's so different. Everybody do home videos and stuff like that. And 07, 08, 09, people weren't doing that. So that was like the different type of doors that it opened.
Right. So when I listen to your music today, it seems like you sing effortlessly. So did that come with practice, or does that come naturally? Do you practice?
I don't wake up and do my ooh la la. I just sing all the time, for real. Like I just sing, and sometimes that's how I come up with a lot of my songs too. If I'm like I used to walk down the street or catch the bus, and if I was whatever sparked my mind, I'll just start singing it. Like on the rooftop downtown, on the end of you, I know.
Wow.
And
So
I
it
like,
comes like that.
and if I get in the studio now, I will write my songs like that. And when I record, I take my time when I record.
Right.
I make sure it sounds good, because I know it's gonna last forever.
So you are inspired by your surroundings.
Yeah, I'm inspired by my surroundings and whatever I'm going through. And sometimes I go back to whatever I've been through if I need to search for more inspiration or go deep in. I don't like to force it though. Most of my music come from stuff I've been through, stuff I'm going through. And sometimes I even pull from stuff I wouldn't want to go through. But like my last project, I'm Not Crazy, Life Is, all of that came from real feelings. Like my last year, every year we go through stuff. And like, I'm like very intuitive, and I pay attention to like my surroundings and stuff like that. And last year, my whole last year, from relationships to the hustle, to the whatever struggles I went through, it was hard, but I always look for what's gonna come from this. So I was inspired by all of those things. So like that's I'm Not Crazy, Life Is, like that project to me is probably one of my most profound projects, and it's a life project. I don't think, like, can't nobody oppose that project, because it's not just talking, it's not just a love album, it's not just for the streets, it's not just for whatever the struggle may be. I went through lovers and friends, being in love. I went through fuck love, I don't want to be in love. I went through function and talking about, smoking, drinking, or popping pills, and you know what I'm saying, like, and coping with life. And then I got bond money because I went through a situation where I was locked up, and all of the vocals, like the skits and stuff that's on that project, those are real conversations where people would be like, y'all did that in the studio. No, that really happened, and it sound crazy, don't it? It's not crazy though. That's just life.
How did that title come about? What inspired the title of that project?
Everything that I was going through. Like, I know, like, everybody had their own way of expressing God, and some people say this the universe. Some people call him Allah. Some people call him Yahweh. Some people call him Jehovah. Like, but the God of all gods. I don't care if you don't believe in the God. He gonna put you in a place where you gonna wonder what the hell is going on, and it's gonna be beyond your understanding of what you can interpret. because we just humans in the flesh, and like you got to understand that every human is different, not just because of their DNA, but because of their spirit.
Lena Blue TV.